Okay, so we've been talking about physical SANs, physical SANs, and what vSphere can and the vCenter server can do with them. Now let's take that to the next level. We mentioned I mentioned in a much earlier video the notion of hyperconvergence. Virtualizing storage, virtualizing machines, virtualizing the network. We'll get back to network virtualization here in a little bit. One thing that VMware started doing in about vSphere 5.1, they built something called the VSA, the VMware Storage Appliance, that allowed the pooling. You could take a cluster of ESXi hosts, cluster their disk capacity, and that would be your data store. So not just the available storage on a single machine, but perhaps whatever was available on multiple machines. You could take up to 3 ESXi hosts, put them in a storage cluster, build your data store on those clusters, and access those using NFS. So that's one of the other differences: NFS versus VMFS. Now VSA relies on Linux. Linux needs that Linux subsystem to manage your storage capacity, performance, redundancy, etc. So every host in the cluster would have to have that VSA appliance, even if potentially it was running. It would be running as a VM of its own to manage the storage on the hardware. vSphere 6 brings us a more integrated and robust solution that we call vSAN, or a virtual SAN. Those ESXi hosts a vSAN cluster can comprise as many as 6 drives, can take unused SSD and spinning disks, put those in a SAN array, and go. It would probably I don't know that you would need that Linux appliance anymore. It may be part of the vCenter server appliance now. The next thing we're going to talk about is Hyper-V's storage features, and then we're going to start talking about networking. Virtual networking, TCP/IP, virtual switches, software-defined networking, Hyper-V virtual networking, vSphere virtual networking, and so on and so forth, up to and including security, because of course we have to think about security in all of this, or we're really not doing our job as cybersecurity professionals. Thanks, and I'll be right back.